Well, hello everyone, and welcome from Del Mar Arena in Del Mar, California, the site of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games West Regional. I'm Ted Ramey alongside Bill Grundler, and Bill, we're on the outset here of what's going to be a stellar competition in the men's side.
I mean, one, we're in California. It's beautiful here, like always. Two, it's a grown regional, so now it's the West Regional. We got a whole lot of competitors. In fact, I think it's one of the deepest regional competitive fields that we have across the field. Plus, we got the second fittest man here. So what more could you ask for?
With that depth, does anything change in terms of strategy for these athletes?
Yeah, you can't play as safe because, before it was like you could kind of pull back just a little bit and maybe come in fourth or fifth and still do okay. But now with such a deep field and some very specific events, you're going to have a lot more people playing the leaderboard, and it's going to bump people all over the place. So you can't be reckless. You can't be reckless.
Now we're getting ready for the triple three, a true test of endurance.
It's all endurance. In fact, that would be the only word you could stick on this one. It's a long one, 49-minute cap. We are going to test one thing. How long can you hang out in that suck? And we're going to see who's got the mass to be able to do that.
The men's individual competition is underway here at the West Regional.
And let's just take a look at what this event's going to be. We're going to start off with 3,000 meters of rowing. Then we're going to have 300 double unders. And then we're going to have 3 miles of running. So 3 things of 3. Some of these athletes have seen this event before. This was actually from the games 2014, I believe it was. They did not do it in a stable situation like this. They actually had to get on the ground and actually run. But we're going to put these people on standby movement pieces of equipment. We got the rower first, then we got that double under, and that's going to be the only real thing you're kind of moving around with. And then you're going to be on that assault air runner. Longest event that's ever been programmed for a regional competition. And I think that that's something that's very important to say. That 49-minute time cap with some people not finishing this is a big deal. But we have 49 minutes to complete this. And I believe that the longest one before that was maybe a 25-minute cap. So that's a huge difference. And again, it's truly testing endurance capacity. And for those endurance athletes that say that we don't run and we just do little 8-minute workouts, well, guess what? That's not the case anymore.
And you can see on that monitor there, it's counting down from 3,000 meters on the row portion to get this started.
Now, a lot of people will really try to push this row. And I think that those that do are going to be paying the price, not just a little bit, but dearly when they get to the later parts of this event. They got to remember that this is just to kind of get you started. So you're not going to be looking for your 500 split time or even your 1,000 split time. You want to be relaxed here. You want to just be comfortable, keep your heart rate down, stay nice and relaxed. You can see that's a great pull. Good pull on the beginning and relax coming in. The other long distance row event that we've had again was in the games. And that was a half marathon. I would never want to do that again, ever, 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 never.
There's Josh Bridges.
You may know that guy. You may. He's been around a little while. I love the fact that you have some old standbys like Josh still in there kicking. He's a Masters athlete. How cool is that?
And there's Neil Maddox with the headband. 40 years old, not slowing down.
No. I mean, geez, he looks like an action figure. Come on, look at that. And again, he's one of those athletes that's been around for so long. Known more for his strength more than anything. I mean, he's just so powerful and explosive. But he gets to play with the endurance game with all the other kids today. And again, we should only be coming up to about the 1,000-meter mark now for some of these athletes. So you can see some of the hands going up, which is showing that. Some of these guys, honestly, I think they need to bring it down a little bit. I think that they're starting to row. You can see them breathing a little harder than they need to. It's too soon for that. They got a lot of time left. They don't need to have any spectacular row. They just need to relax.
Now you see the judges there, they've got 2 fingers up on their hands. That means they've got less than 2,000 meters left to go. As I said, it is counting down from 3,000. And that means when you see it later on and they've got a 1 up, that means they've got less than 1,000 meters to go.
Right there in the center of your screen in the blue shirt, that's Dane Mclaughlin. He comes out of my gym, CrossFit Inferno. Yay, yay. Got to give a little plug there for my boy. Has really grown as an athlete over the last handful of years. He's been to the regionals. I think this is his 5th time at the regionals. I think these workouts are going to really kind of play to his favor. So I'm hoping for him he has a really good weekend. Wow, see, that's a 150 split. Even that's a little higher than I would think it could be. You could bring that down to a 155. And you really aren't going to be, let's say you get off the rower 10 seconds, 15 seconds later, but you're that much more fresh going into the 300 double unders, and it really all comes down to the run.
That's lane 19 and Mark Pfeiffer we're getting a look at right now. And you notice there's one rower that's sideways there in the back. Apparently there was a problem with the rower and it had to be replaced, and that's why he is out of uniform compared to everyone else.
You know, if you're talking mechanical advantage on the rower, that's going to be your bigger, longer athletes, just because they can get a lot more distance on that cable as they pull it back. All these guys here look nice and long and tall, which is good. Johnny Medina back there in the back with the crooked rower is a little bit shorter, so he's got to work a little bit, I don't want to say harder, but he just has to go with more strokes than everybody else. Same thing with Josh Bridges. But the thing with Josh is he was actually pulling at the same tempo as some of the other guys, you know, with probably about a foot less distance than they have to travel. So he's got to work that much harder, that much more.
Again, a 49-minute cap here. 333 men's event, first event. All right, we see some hands up now with 1 finger up from the judges. That means they've got under 1,000 meters left to go. This is a look at Josh Bridges' screen right here.
See, that's an incredible road tempo. Now, the one thing he's got in his favor is when it comes to endurance type events, he always does really well. So even though mechanically, advantage-wise, he doesn't have the advantage, but wow, I mean, he's pulling great, and he's got that ability to hang out in that really painful position for a long period of time.
The next hand you see for the judges will be when they have 500 left to go, and then 400, 300, 200, 100 respectively, and then they'll be on to the next portion, which is the double unders.
know what I really haven't seen a whole lot of, Ted, is I haven't seen a lot of these athletes looking back and forth at some of the screens just to kind of get a feel of where the other people are around them. They can hear the announcers calling where people are, but you really have no idea where the rest of the field is. So you're kind of, for some it could be really good because they're coming into it blind, and for others, they may come out too fast because they just think, imagining that they're behind the ball.
Well, we do see some of those hands coming up indicating they are under 400 meters, or they've got 400 meters left. We've seen some signaling now 300 meters. All right, Mike Brown in lane 15. We're also seeing lane 13, Malachi Bennett. And lane 9, that's George Sanchez.
So no, you can't underestimate just how bad your legs feel when you come off the road. Even though you weren't racing it all out on that 3,000 meters, to go into that, to have to go to the 300 double unders right after that, it's tough on the legs. You have to kind of reorient yourself, reorient from a long, slow push to a bound on those calves. Now we are going to see them break 3 sets of 100. I'll tell you what, myself, I would be breaking up the 100s just to kind of keep that, because you're going to want to keep those calves as much as possible for the run. That's going to be important. It's not about how fast can you go here. It's just, can you stay consistent?
And of course, one of the athletes we're all paying attention to here, Bill, is the one and only Josh Bridges. Of course, one of the most recognizable faces in CrossFit today, and has been for some time. And he comes into this one, he's now a Masters athlete, but he's saying no, he's not going into that. He's all in here at the regional.
You know, I know what it's like to feel that alive and kicking thing. You're kicking and screaming into the Master division. I get it. But with Josh, he's just a great competitor, and he's been around for a long time. Now, he is one of the athletes that we have to watch in this event, because he did this event in the 2014 games and actually came out in fifth place when they actually did. So he's felt this before. I will say that this event is not one that a lot of people want to try, or if they do try, they just kind of make their way through it. They don't really race it. Josh knows exactly where he needs to be. He knows how to push. And especially when you come to any sort of an endurance type event, Josh Bridges is always in there. And again, we are way early in this event. We're only at 13:30. You know, some of the fastest times were 33, 35 when they originally did this event back in 2014. A little bit slower than that, so we got a lot of time left. And these guys, if they're really pushing, they got to watch for Josh Bridges, because he will sneak up behind them and blow right by them. I mean, this guy, we've seen him. What's he known for? That big yell at the end of the finish line. He is a passionate, aggressive experienced competitor. And when you put that kind of passion and that kind of experience together, and now I really feel like he's got something to prove. You know, you wrap all that up into one little, just like what Pat Sherwood was saying, one keg, one fire keg bomb, and that he's going to explode on the field. And that's what he's going to do. I mean, he just is so powerful and so fun to watch. He's all in all the time.
Well, Bridges was the first out onto the assault runner, and he has an 11-second lead now on the field.
Now I'm just going to say this. For the field, the fact that Josh gets to the runner first is bad for them. It doesn't matter what running event you have or has been placed in front of him, he's always done extremely well. So the fact that he gets to the runner first, I think we're going to count him as he's going to win this heat. So you see these guys on that air runner. This is the 333. It's a redo from a games event in 2014, but we got 3,000 meters of rowing, which they already did, 300 double unders, which they already did, and now we have 3 miles of running on that treadmill. Now, Ted, running 3 miles, at least if you have something to look at, that's cool. You got the change of scenery. There's no change of scenery here for these guys. So not only do you have the task of having to run at a particular pace, you don't necessarily know where everyone is. The only way you can kind of tell is if you look at those chess pieces up at the front, they're getting moved around. So that's the only real way to see where anybody really is. Other than that, you're shoulder to shoulder with your athletes the entire time. And you want to try as hard as you can not to fall off that thing as you're sliding down the slope of that runner.
No scenery changes, but they might look over and see us. That'll make them feel good.
I'll wave to them. How's it going? How we doing down there?
There is Bridges. He is our leader as we approach the 17-minute mark. 49-minute cap on the event.
So if you talk to any CrossFit athlete that's been on this runner, it is not like running on the regular ground. In fact, when they did the testing of this event, Stacy Tovar was one of the testers, and she ran the original 333 as well in the games. When she was running here, she was running between a 10 and 11-minute mile. So it's a big difference between your normal tempo. Also, it's just how you're running is going to be different. You can see Josh looks like he's almost kind of prancing. That's really what you have to do. You're basically running up a slight hill the entire time as that belt moves. It's completely human-driven, so there isn't an engine on there. You don't get to set the tempo, or at least you don't get to set the motor to set your tempo. You set your tempo. And what a lot of athletes are going to say is they feel it in their hamstrings, especially if they're running incorrectly. The object with this runner is it sets you to a correct position, which is on the balls of your feet or on that forefront striking position. What you can see as we look across the field here, that everyone is being forced to do that. And those that don't are going to pay dearly at the hamstrings because they're trying to pull that belt back.
The event record is 35:25:02 from the Europe Regional, set by Sigurdur Prasterson. Again, 35:25:02. It looks like Justin Maddox in lane 7 was the first to see his chest piece moved forward, so he has taken the lead from Josh Bridges in lane 8.
Now again, the strategy here on the runner, even though you go right from the double unders, you hit that run, you know you're in the race, you can kind of get yourself going, but you want to settle into a good pace. The object and the goal would be to increase your tempo on every single mile. You know you got 3, so start off with a decent one, compose yourself. Be able to build in that second without blowing it all out in that second mile, and then on that last mile, that's where you really have to be able to have the gas to go as hard as you can to be able to finish on top of the field. The last thing you want to have is a 13-minute last mile and a 9-minute first mile. That's the last thing you want. So even though Josh may have fallen out of the lead here, he just doesn't have any issue with losing his pace. That's one of the things that he's really been really strong with all through his career. He doesn't look like he's slowing to me at all. I mean, he just looks very smooth. He's not moving around, not wasting a lot of energy. Comfortable.
So you see the chest piece, the pads we're seeing moved, the elongated trapezoids, those are moved forward every quarter mile. So we pay attention to those. That's how we know who's in the lead. That's how the athletes know where they are in terms of where the judging is. The other athletes can look and see where everybody else is as well. You see one judge coming in and moving one of those chest pieces back. So that is what is telling the athletes and us commentators where these runners are in the event. So Josh Bridges there in lane 8. It looks like he's back in the lead, followed by Justin Maddox in lane 7, and George Sanchez up there as well in lane 9.
And as a coach, what I like to look at, especially when we do these long shots like this, is what does everyone's form look like? Who's breaking down? Who looks calm? Who looks like they're lunging into each one of those steps? What's the face look like? Are they showing some sort of distraught, or do they look like they're just relaxed? All of those things are going to be important from a coach's perspective. What these athletes have to remember to do is to stay as relaxed as possible. They got a lot of time here on the runner, so you don't want to go all crazy with it. Stay relaxed, keep your tempo. They can see those chest pieces starting to move now, so they can kind of get a feel for where people are.
All right, we are on to the 3-mile running portion of the Triple 3 here, Event 1, Heat 1 at the West Regional. They've made it through the 3,000-meter run. Or excuse me, they've made it through the 3,000-meter row. They've done the 300 double unders, and now they're on to the 3-mile run. And depending on where these athletes are, they could be at about the halfway point, unless they are just an endurance freak right now. But that's about where we are, about halfway. There is a 49-minute cap here for Event 1 at the West Regional. This is Bridges' monitor we're getting a look at right now. He's been on there for 10:07. Looks like his mile pace is about an 8:10 or 8:20. And he has 1.75 miles left to go.
You know, they could at least put some pictures on there for these guys to look at while they're running. Maybe a little digital scenery, you know. Maybe throw a couple birds out there. A couple tweets, a couple things that like dodge. Look at that face. Josh just looks so driven. And again, I think he's so comfortable in an event like this. He doesn't mind that pain. You know, especially with his military background, this is what he did. I mean, he was used to being able to absorb pain and deal with pain like that and kind of put it out of his mind. And I think that that's just something that's been such a feather in his cap as an athlete. He can shut off that discomfort and just deal and go.
The event record here for the 333 was set by Sigurdur Prasterson, 35:25:02 at the Europe Regional. 35:25:02. All right, so this is Bridges' monitor right now. Looks like he has 1.17 remaining. And still right around that. He was between 8:10 and 8:20 last time. So I don't think he's going to be able to get to that record pace we saw from Prasterson, Bill, but he is putting forth a very good effort right now, and he's got a 42-second lead.
Well, you know, it's always nice to get a world event record. I mean, why not? That's great. But it's all about placing and qualifying out of your regional competition. So all he needs to do is put up a good event in this particular, well, obviously in this heat. He knows he's not racing just the people in this heat, and he's got people like Brent Fikowski in the next heat. But this is an event where he excels, so he keeps that 8-minute. I want to see if he can get it down to an 8-minute as he's trying to pick it up in that last mile. He still looks so calm and so smooth. His positioning has not changed. I'm seeing other people starting to slump a little bit. Arms are moving all over the place. Got George Sanchez on the side taking a little goo, trying to get a little energy right off to his right-hand side. And Josh he's like not even wavering. He looks completely at home, the same now as he did when he hopped right on the runner.
Now Bridges in lane 8 is in the lead. Looking comfortable. Again, about a 40-plus second lead. We are watching Heat 1 of event number 1 for the men's individual competition here at the West Regional, the Triple Three. We've seen these competitors get through a 3,000-meter row, 300 double unders, and now they are on to the 3-mile run. In lane 8 there, right of center, you see Josh Bridges. He is in the lead.
And we've already talked about how much more difficult this air runner is as opposed to running on the regular ground. Josh's time out of the games in the 2014 when they did the triple threes on the ground was 34:11. So he's right about 90 seconds off that, a little bit more than a minute off of that. Obviously he's not going to beat that time, but you got to remember the runner is going to add at least 2 minutes to your mile or a minute and a half to your mile. So the fact that he's hanging right in that ballpark, that's pretty impressive. And again, this is 4 years later. You know, he was 31 then, he's 35 now, and as an older athlete myself, I know that 1 year adds stuff to you that you don't want to think about, but it does. So the fact that he's looking this strong is really testament for him.
Again, lane 8, he is our leader. We saw that next to him, Justin Medeiros in lane 7 was right there hanging with him as well, about 45 seconds behind where he was. It's Amador Arteaga again in lane 16. He is in second right now. So he's been able to move past Justin Medeiros, who is next to Bridges, and now he has positioned himself in second place in Heat 1. There's Bridges on the right of your screen. He is our leader.
I want to see what kind of tempo he's going to be able to increase into. Every time I think of a running event, I always think of him winning Murph, bringing that back and him sprinting across the field as he's finishing it up. I want to see that same sort of passion, which I don't doubt that we will see. Of course we're going to see. That's Josh Bridges. What am I saying? But I want to see him come off that assault runner and hit the ground and get that big yell at the end. What a way to start this regional.
Right now we're hearing Bridges has a 38-second lead on Amador Arteaga at lane 16.
So now we're going to see what kind of juice Josh has. We already saw that chest piece get moved all the way to the end. So he's sprinting into the stadium now. Virtually, of course. Virtual reality.
Lane 8, Bridges, he is our leader.
Look at that tempo increasing. There it is. You can see those feet of Josh and those bright pink shoes. Maybe he just wants us to look at his feet right now. But look how fast those are moving.
And we see the judge's hand is up. Bridges in lane 8 is our leader. I think he just doubled down again on his pace.
You know, but that's exactly what he does so well. He knows how to pace and he knows how to push, and he's emptying the tank when he needs to, which is right at the end perfectly.
Bridges.
Oh, wow.
The will to endure. He starts off his 2018 West Regional with a heat win.
I'll tell you what, you cannot put an endurance type event in front of him and not have him do well. That was so impressive, but not unexpected, but still so impressive.
And here's Arteaga. So he'll come in. And for Bridges, we know how well he does in endurance, but that's kind of a message that's sent to Fikowski or anybody else, saying he's not here to mess around.
You know, of course he's not here to mess around. Josh Bridges doesn't mess around. If he's not competing, then he's messing around. He's a jokester for sure, but you put him on the competitive floor and it's a fight. It's a fight.
Hand is up on Medeiros in lane 7 with the red trunks. And Maddox will come in.
Oh. Dane Mclaughlin, that's my boy right there. Nice job by Dane. Good, strong finish. And with Dane, I knew he came in with an ankle injury as well, so I know he was all taped up. Didn't seem to affect him too much. That was a great event for him.
We also saw George Sanchez come in. And this is Stephen Bidwell in lane number 4. And Mike Brown comes in. It looks like Tanner Sturm in lane 2. So the hand is up. That is Rafael Durand coming in lane 3. And that's Mark Pfeiffer coming in. And then Kleinschmidt as well. So Johnny Medina III, we're seeing the hand up on him in lane number 5. There he is in the maroon top. In the background of a Josh Bridges that doesn't even look that tired.
Seriously.
And so here comes Johnny Medina III. He'll cross the line in under 42 minutes. Hand is up for Jeff Patzer. Lane 14. Patzer coming in. .42.18 roughly for Patzer. Now lane 11, Kelsey Ware, we're seeing a hand up there. And in lane 6, in lane 6 we have Nathan Pontius. Lane 11, Hunter Britt. Hand is up on Britt in lane 11. And Britt does come in lane 11. And we've got Neil Maddox coming in. And in lane 1, we've got Tyler Wilcox. The hand is up now for Wilcox in lane 1. And Wilcox will come in. So everybody gets in under the cap of 49 minutes, and there is Josh Bridges. And you know, we were just joking, but when they showed him afterwards, it just looked like a relative walk in the park for him. I mean, his ability on endurance events is just spectacular.
Well, and his ability to hide the pain is what's so incredible. I mean, it's not like that didn't hurt him. Yes, he's very good at them, but it's still hurt. He just hides it so well. And the fact, you know, I think always coming off, and whether you're winning your heat or you're winning your event, that's a very positive feeling. It feels really good. So he came across, and it's always nice to get yourself back on the field and root people on when you just beat everybody.
So let's take a look at these Heat 1 results here. Obviously, we are going to see Bridges at the top, 38:08:31. That is going to be our time to beat heading into the next heat. Amador Arteaga, again, 38:42. Justin Medeiros, 39:23. But again, it's Bridges there at the top with a very impressive first heat performance here at the West Regional that's obviously going to have everybody talking. And down on the floor, we've got Kiki Dixon with our heat winner, Josh Bridges.
Josh, congratulations on taking your heat. You're known for your ability in these types of events, but where do you go mentally when the endurance hits?
For me, I just kind of turned the brain off. I don't really try to think. I was just trying to look at my paces on the row and hold a pace that I knew I could comfortably hold so I could run harder. And then on the run, it was just like, just get to the next 400 meters. Just get to the next 400 meters at a time. That was really all I was thinking about.
Now your face looks the exact same from the concept to all the way to the finish line. 1, do you feel pain? And 2, if you do, where did this event hurt the worst?
I don't feel pain. No, I'm just kidding. No, I definitely do. This event started to hurt, I would say, like right when you hit the run. When you hit the run, I was probably feeling the worst, and I slowly found my pace. Went pretty slow off the bat, and I told myself to hold back on the run a little bit. And then once I got my breath back and got my bearings back, I started to pick it up, and I started to feel it better actually throughout the run.
Okay, endurance, check. Up next, we've got some strength. How are you changing gears for that?
I'm really excited for Linda. I can't wait. One of my favorite workouts. I love deadlifting. I love benching. And squat cleans, it's not that heavy. So here we go. It'll be fun.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
All right, Heat 1 is done, and Heat 2 is coming up next. All right, we're getting ready for men's event number 1, heat number 2 here at the West Regional in Del Mar, California. We just saw Josh Bridges take heat number 1, and now we are getting ready to see what we have offered here in heat number 2 of event number 1. Bill, what are we looking at this?
A whole bunch of stuff that's going to take a long time, basically. We got 3,000 meters on the row, we got 300 double unders, and we have a 3-mile run. 49-minute time cap. If you were with us in the last heat, you saw what that looked like, which it's a long time. And that's really going to push these athletes mentally. At the regional level, we've never had an event this long. This was in the games at 2014. So those that were in this heat, or that were in the games that year, got to play with this, like Josh Bridges. But we have some big names that are in this heat, and I want to see if Josh is going to be able to hold them all off.
All right, we get a look at Christian Lucero there in lane number 6, as well as Ben Stoneberg in lane 7, 2 Canadians, Mitch Barnard and Joe Scally in lane 10. Garrett Fischer in lane 11, Brent Bukowski in lane 14. And heat 2 of men event number 1 here at the 2018 West Regional is underway.
And of course, you got to look at the number 2 fittest man on the planet as we start off this first event. I think he's kind of taken the torch a little bit and taken the name of the endurance level athlete. And yes, he is very good at the endurance type events, but I really think that there is a battle in this particular event between him and Josh Bridges. So I really want to see how those two fare over the course of this long event. Cole Sager, man, talk about always being the comeback kid. For whatever reason, he always seems to have some sort of something happen during the regionals and fights his way back. Such a great athlete, a strong athlete, and I really do believe that the events this year, they aren't going to be, there's not a bad one for him. There isn't a really heavy deadlift. There isn't an element that's going to really put him into a bad position. So hopefully he doesn't have to play the comeback. He can kind of sit up in that top 5. All these guys, they just need to stay relaxed on this row. If you see any athletes that are already puffing their cheeks and already breathing hard, and we're 1 minute and 30 seconds into this, I don't think we're going to be looking at them for a whole lot longer. They're going to be back towards the end of the field. They need to be relaxed. And we have a lot of athletes that have been around the game in this heat. And so I'm really looking to see some experience with that. Now Ben Stoneberg there in the, I'm just going to say the white bodysuit. I'm just going to say that. Ben Stoneberg also did this event back in 2014 at the games and came up third in this particular event. So you look at him, you think powerful lifter, you think strong guy, you think maybe some gymnastic stuff, but he crushed this event the first time, and that was a lot of heat. I mean, this was the event that we saw Rich Froning actually walking in, which shocked everybody. So the fact that Ben Stoneberg placed third in this event overall, you can't count him out, even though, again, it's 4 years ago, but he's not real old. So it's not like he's 35. It's not like where he's Josh Bridges' age, where you start to feel those types of events. I want to see if he's going to be able to put at the same type of score in this setting as opposed to the games that last year, or that 1 year in 2014.
So the hands up right now with 2 fingers means that they have less than 2,000 meters left to go. The rowers' screens are counting down from 3,000 meters, and what the judges are now indicating is that they have less than 2,000 now left to go. When we see a hand with 1 finger up, it'll mean that they have less than 1,000 meters to go.
And right there in the mustache, Cody Anderson. Man, he's growing that thing to some power. It's a powerful mustache that he's wearing. So Cody's been around for a while now too. He was also in the 2014 games and got to play with this event. Across the field, didn't do spectacular. He was 23rd in this event. Had about a 35-minute time on it. So, if we look at Josh, and Josh redid it, and he was about 4 minutes later, 4 minutes slower, 5 minutes slower. Probably do tack on that same amount with Cody, then we're looking around 42, 43, still within that 49-minute time frame. But at least he's played with this before, so he knows what it feels like in a competitive setting, which is a lot different than a training setting for a lot of these athletes, because we know they all played with it, but he knows what it felt like. with Cole Sager. I'm going to say he's a fan favorite. I mean, people love this guy. One, he's a cool athlete. I mean, he is just very fun to watch, but legitimately one of the nicest people on the planet. Like, you can't not like him. And I don't think, even no matter what you did to him, I think he would still like you back. I mean, he's just that nice of a guy. Strong athlete. No, he's your classic football player type of athlete. Very powerful, very explosive. So you wouldn't normally think that in this type of event he would do very well. It's not going to play to his strengths. He also did this in the 2014 games. 28th place back then in a 36-minute approximate time. So I'm sure he wasn't overly excited when they saw that this was announced. He was like, oh, great, that one again, cool. But, he's worked with Ben Bergeron as his coach, and Ben definitely pushes these guys, both him and Catherine, Matt Fraser, pushes them very tough on the endurance side as well. So I'm anxious to see with Cole, how much has he grown over the course of 4 years with this type of event? What's he been able to improve, and it'll be fun to see that.
This is Jason Carroll's monitor right now. He's coming up on 1,100 meters left. It counts down from 3,000.
Wow, 147, 145? See, now, I know Jason Carroll likes to do some grunt work. That's kind of what he's known for, what we've seen him do over the course of the last couple years. But a 147, I think that's pushing the pace just a little bit much. I don't think you need to do that because you're not going to win this event on the row. He can relax a little bit. The last thing you want is to be tired going into the double unders. And we heard Josh Bridges with his great time. Where it hurt the worst was right when he hit the runner. So even he said, I want to go a little bit slower on the row so that I can run faster. And that's where the race is. You got to make sure you have enough gas left in the tank to really push that run and decrease those split times from the first mile to the second to the third.
All right, so we see some hands up now that indicate they are less than 1,000 meters left. And Andre Jordan in lane 17 was one of the ones that we saw go up first. And then when they get down to 500, 400, 300, 200 meters, etc., we will see that signified as well. Heat 2 of event number 1, men's competition here at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games West Regional.
Wow, look how relaxed he is. This is the craziest thing about Brent is he's so methodical and everything is so calculated. I mean, they give him the nickname the professor. I mean, he's an accountant, he's a numbers guy, he's a strategizer, he is a planner. So I can only imagine what his plan was coming into this. I mean, he's so relaxed. And as far as being a tall athlete, he's one of the tallest out in the field, the row should be the easiest portion for him. I mean, mechanically speaking, he's got the advantage. But look how relaxed he is. And look at the difference that we talked about. A 152 split, a 155, super smart. And this is what he does a lot on these types of events, is he lets the field go. You guys get out there, and then guess what? I'm going to come right behind you, and I'm going to blow right by you because you're going to be so tired already. And he's already resting. That 10 seconds left on the split, Jason Carroll's going to get off before he does, for sure. But he's going to be more rested, and that's what he wants. And that's where he always wins in these types of events.
Well, one of the things we've been talking about is whether or not this is a runner's event, but maybe it's the guys who are strategizing best and taking it easy on the rowers. They're setting themselves up for the best success later.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. You got to make sure that you're smart about how you pace. You got to make sure when you make those jumps, when you decide to push the tempo. But again, this is a long event. We got a lot of time to really assess what you're doing. All right, so we got my keys on here, my specialty keys to winning, and you got to pace that row. And just like we were talking about with Brent Fikowski, he's pacing that row. He knows that the win, it's not going to be won here. The second part's going to be managed frustration, and that's going to be more on the double unders. It's a large number. It's 300. They're going to break you up into sets of 100. So depending on how you are with double unders, if they're no big deal, great. If some days you're on and some days you're off, well, then you should decide to break up your double unders on your terms, not when you mess them up because you're tired. But if you do mess them up, don't get frustrated. Stay relaxed. Understand it may not be as fast as it needs to be, but that's the shortest segment of that part of the entire event. And then build on the run. You want to be able to hit that assault runner. Get into that first mile. Doesn't have to be crazy, but get into it. Try to build to the second, but have enough gas left so that when you hit that final mile, you can build and increase and increase and increase. That's what Josh Bridges did, and that's what we want to see.
That's Jason Carroll out there first, getting to the double unders.
And we knew he was going to come off. I mean, that was a hot split on that row.
And we also saw Andre Jordan coming out, followed by Mitchell Stephenson in lane 2. But now the crowd is making their way out to the 300 double unders. So 3,000 meters road, now it's on to 300 double unders.
And literally, Brent Fikowski was one of the last 5 to get to the double unders. Last 5. He took a shot of goo. I don't know if you guys can see that on the monitor, but he took a little shot of that goo. It's just some carbohydrates, some sugars to get himself back up, because it's not going to be the double unders, but he's going to need that little boost of energy on the run, because he's going to have to put it down.
Cyclists everywhere are nodding.
Yeah, totally.
Jason Carroll in lane number 8 in the gray top. He was the first out to the double unders. You see on the inside with the red trunks, that is Ben Stoneberg. Mitch Barnard on the right of your screen. Green trunks, shirtless.
You know, Jason Carroll's come a pretty long way over the last couple years. Seeing him at regionals, not quite making it to the games. And what I liked most about him back then, when he first kind of came onto the scene, was, I'm just here to have some fun. And he looked like he was. And I think a lot of CrossFit athletes have forgotten how to have fun in their training, in their competing. Last year he made it to the games as a rookie and did okay. You know, it wasn't crazy, but he did okay. But every time I see him, he just loves to work. He loves saying that he's a workhorse. He's one of those athletes that's a little rough around the edges, and I think as the time goes on, he's cleaning that up and becoming more and more efficient, more and more of a complete athlete. And man, it is fun to watch him work though. Like, he just goes. That's why I'm a little concerned with his row where he came off a little hot, a little heavy. I want to see if he's going to be able to contain that a little bit for the rest of the run.
And Carroll is the first up onto the runner. And he looks fresh right now. And we see Stoneberg up there as well, directly next to him. Carroll's lead is 8 seconds. Sorry, Bill.
No, this is okay. The question is, did Jason push it too hard? With Ben Stoneberg coming from, I mean, basically right behind him. He's not that many seconds behind. Having the experience of knowing what this event feels like, knowing the pacing in a competitive setting, and watching the feet, like Ben Stoneberg, you can see in the red shorts, he's got the shaved head, his feet are moving quick right next to Jason Carroll. So that's something that Jason needs to be really aware of. He's gonna have to somehow contain himself, conserve himself, so that he can go faster towards the end. And I just don't know if it's gonna happen.
So Marlon Azurdia is the one athlete out there still working on the double unders. Otherwise, everybody's up onto the assault runner. Saw some water and some water bottle go flying there.
I think that was Brent Fikowski's. So look at that. Brent Fikowski's was one of the last chest pieces up. Now this is going to be the test. And the thing is, you can't count him out with that. Yes, he's well behind the field. Yes, he's way behind, but he knows his body, and he's so calculated that I think that he's in that last mile. It's going to come down to that last mile. What does everyone else have left in the tank, and what is he able to put down on the floor?
All right, let's go down to Kiki on the floor for a closer look.
Guys, I figured we'd get it straight from the horse's mouth. I'm here with the CEO of Assault Fitness, Matt Simons. Now, Matt, what are some of the biggest differences as opposed to running on the air runner versus on the sidewalk?
Yeah, one of the big differences, I think that having 9 regionals around the world all using the air runner, it allows standardization of this 3 miles. Because if we were in Brazil versus Nashville versus Del Mar, the conditions are going to be a big difference, but having them all on the same exact device allows for that standardization. Also, form matters. When you run on the air runner, you have to have good form. If you're outside, bad form goes for everybody. So this forces you to stand up straight, arms down, looking out. You can see these guys all have good form, which is allowing them to move that belt, which I think really helps.
So going to that technique, when you're saying they have good form, what are you looking for?
Yeah, you're looking for chest up and standing tall. So most runners who are fatigued will lean forward. If you stand tall, you can move that belt. So that really kind of what helps is that standing tall.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for the insight.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you, Kiki. And as we take a look back at the field, our leader has changed now. In lane 11, it is Garrett Fischer, who has about an 8-second lead now on the field.
And Garrett, man, again, you look at the class of athlete that he is one of the biggest in the field. You don't look at him and think endurance athlete, you think of him as a power athlete. But when he's been in the games, when there's been endurance type elements, he's usually done pretty well too, so you can't cancel him out. Obviously the row is not going to be an issue. Double unders for all these guys is not an issue. But we have to see how hard and how fast he's going to be able to go with this run. Again, I think majority speaking, when most athletes are doing any kind of run training, they're going to be looking at like 1.5 miles, maybe some repeats, but they aren't going to do a lot of true 3 miles. So we're going to see if he's been training that and testing that.
So now Fischer still in the lead, followed closely by Carroll in lane 8, and then Marlon Azurdia in lane 13 is moving up as well. And Azurdia was one of the last one to get up onto the runner.
That was that frustration part we talked about. He was getting frustrated with those double unders. But Garrett Fischer, he's been around a long time. He's bounced around a little bit. He was in Northern California. He was with the NorCal team up there with Jason Khalipa back in the day. Then he went over to the East Coast and was in Florida for a while doing some training over there, and he's back over here. This guy has been around a long time. He has grown a lot through this sport. His hairdo has never changed, and it's been impeccable, which has been impressive. Of all the athletes, but I tell you what, he is fun to watch. I think he's gotten a lot better as he's matured, just as a person and as an athlete. So it's been really fun to see what he can do. I think with the events that we have laid out, there isn't a heavy-duty strength one that he could really excel in. But I think the movements are all going to play well for him. So I'm excited to see how he does with the rest of these guys.
All right, Fischer is our leader in lane 11. Jason Carroll is in second right now in this heat in lane 8. And Marlon Azurdia is in third right now in lane 13. 20 minutes gone by, Heat 2, Event 1, here at the West Regional. And Carroll has moved back into the lead. Lane 8, we see his chest piece. Again, those chest pieces get moved forward every 400 meters that is completed. The tall trapezoid pads we see out there on the floor. There's Carroll.
I'm concerned. Look at his face. Like, he looks tired to me. If you look at Ben Stoneberg right off to his left in the red shorts, Ben doesn't look tired. He looks relaxed, but Jason's kind of lumbering back and forth, and it's hard. I'll say this. Jason Khalipa kind of ruined that, because Jason Khalipa could keep pushing and running, and you know, most of the CrossFit athletes that know who Jason Khalipa is, 2008 champ, big athlete, and he lumbered. I mean, he looked like a bull when he was running, but somehow was able to keep on going. So if Jason Carroll's got that same gene, then good for Jason.
We see that Carmody has moved up into second in lane number 1, and we're also looking at Joe Scally in lane 10.
I'm pretty impressed with Joe Scally. I'm going to say what he's famous for was coming out of Murph when they did it the first time in Murph, and he blew doors on everyone in the first mile. Came flying back in, and then we never heard from him again. I mean, he got blown out. He obviously has learned, because the tempo now is a lot different, and he's building, which I think is good. So look at that. Let's relax, and that's what you want to be. You want to be relaxed. It's not what it looked like in Murph. That's good. So he's learning. It's good to see people growing and learning when they do this stuff.
You know, it's funny, we've seen him and Carroll talking to the camera during this, so it looks like they're keeping their senses of humor about them.
Well, they were also in that group, that Throwdown Thursday, Trash Talk Thursday, during the qualifying open that a lot of these athletes did. They would all kind of get on social media, and whoever won got to pick what the punishment was for the one that lost. There were some pretty ugly ones. I'm not going to say it online here, but you guys can go check it out on social media.
All right, so we're seeing that Jean-Paul Heathcock in lane 18 has taken over the lead from Carroll in 8.
Christian Lucero there in the center of your screen. Now, here's the thing. Last year, he was leading, winning overall, and they had to pull out on the last day due to a pec injury. It was a big battle between him and Josh Bridges the entire competition. He actually set an event record, a world record, in one of the events with all the ring dips. Very good athlete, has gotten so well-rounded. So I'm glad to see he's back in. Again, we've got a lot of different tests for these guys to deal with. But I'm excited to see him back in, and I'm hoping that being healthy again, we're going to be able to see a good battle between him and Josh and Brent. But man, he's fun to watch, and he's rocking the cool man bun, rocking the cool man bun. It's a little low on the ponytail right now, so he's got to get the man bun thing going back on. But he's fun to watch. He's a real fun athlete to watch, real showy, and great movement on all the stuff that he does.
And between him and Fischer, there's a lot of hair focus today. I feel like you're trying to make me feel bad.
No, come on now. We can go back to Ben Stoneberg if you want. It's fine.
And now we see Carroll's chest piece moving. That tells us he is our leader.
I mean, this field is so tight compared to the last heat. We had chest pieces all over the place. This is basically everyone's in the same line. We have a couple little stragglers out to the front, but I'm impressed with how close the field is.
Carmody in lane 1, his got moved second. And then Joe Scally in lane 10, his was third.
So just to give you guys, you know, we were talking about Brent Fikowski. We've talked about him so much, second fittest man on the planet, Mr. Endurance guy, the professor. Then we got Jason Carroll, rough around the edges. Jason is your current leader in this event. But I want to see if they are going to be able to hold their pace. Jason got to the runner first. Actually, came off the rower first. He was flying with that 145 split. Brent Fikowski had a 155 split. Got to the run a lot further back, at least a good 35 seconds. But is Brent going to be able to make that up? That's what we're trying to see. Now, if you look at the way that they're running, Brent looks composed. Look at that, completely relaxed, not swaying back and forth like Jason Carroll is. That's a lot of wasted energy that Jason's doing. Granted, sometimes you don't have choice. You just got to give what you got to give. But Brent looks composed. Hands are moving correctly. Feet is landing correctly. Not a lot of side-to-side movement. If Jason's not Carroll, if Jason isn't careful, he is Carroll. If he's not careful, then he's going to be wasting too much energy, especially into that last mile.
Well, it hasn't been pretty from Carroll, but he is still in the lead. So we see his chest piece get moved once again. Now here's one that's interesting, Bill, is that Azurdia, he was the last one on to the runner, and I think he really felt that. And then he was flying to get caught up with everyone, but obviously his pace is slowed because his chest piece is still behind everyone else's.
Well, I mean, he's got some room to make up, you know. So yes, he may have picked it up a little bit, but again, we got 3 miles. That's great. You want to sprint on the first mile, but guess what? You're screwed for the rest of it.
Lane 8. That is Jason Carroll. He's got a 21-second lead on Joe Scally in lane 10. And there's Fikowski's chest piece getting moved. So he is moving up. As Bill predicted, left some in the tank. And now is definitely forging into the top pack here as we are 27.5 minutes into this 49-minute cap. All right, we're getting a look now at Fikowski's monitor, 1.35 miles left to go.
But look at that 7:55 pace. That's what I was looking at. Even Josh Bridges, he was running over 8 minutes. So 8:15 at this point.
Yeah.
So that's an impressive, but this is what he does. Save it for when you need it, and that's what he's doing. But I got to see if it's going to be enough to get him back up over where Jason Carroll is. That's going to be the tough part to see. And again, we still have we've got a mile and some left, so he's got some time to do that. But he's going to have to be very aware of where those chest pieces are going.
So you see Carroll, Scally, and Carmody, the 3 chest pieces out in front of everyone else's. Mitchell Stephenson in lane 2, they're moving his forward. Now here comes Fikowski. He's joining the gang up there in the front runners. So Fikowski, we saw him running about a 7:55 mile pace, and he is forging ahead. But still chasing Carroll as well as Scally. But of course we are going to be paying attention to that. And now, as we take a look at this monitor, this is Carroll. He's moved up to 7:41 on the pace. So he has really pushed ahead on the time he's doing.
Yeah, he really has. And that's okay. Again, we still got just over a mile. And this is what a lot of people do. They understand the idea of building, but are you building at the correct time? How many times, I mean, you said that you broadcasted track events. How many times do people start their kick too early and then they're smoked on that last hunt, that last straightaway? This is what Jason doesn't want to do. So yes, he's picking it up. You can see that. But is it too early? You don't want to pick it up that much too early or you're done.
The thing about Carroll is he hasn't looked comfortable for a while, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him.
That's why I'm saying he may have the Jason Khalipa gene on that one, where he's just kind of lumbering through it, but he still crushes it.
So Carroll and Scally right there ahead in front of everybody else. Carroll in lane 8 is in the lead in this heat. Followed by Scally's in second. And we see Carmody's being moved ahead, as well as Stephenson and Fikowski in lane 14.
Oh, here we go. So he was about 45 seconds behind Carroll. He's cutting it down.
Let's take a look at the event record here for the event number 1, the 333. Sigurdur Prasterson, 35:25:02 in the Europe Regional. Again, 35:25:02.
It's so fast.
It really is.
Jeez. Brent looks like he's picked it up a little bit. Look at that. Foot tempo's looks a little faster. Body still looks in great position though. Man, I crack up at the difference between him and Jason Carroll when they're running. Looks like he was looking for some goo. Little bit of jolt. Can he get himself going for this last little stretch?
Again, that's Fikowski in 14. As Bill has pointed out, one of the last ones to get on the runner, and now has pushed himself right towards that top pack. Ooh. This is Fikowski's monitor. Bill, that mile pace, I'll let you read it.
7:30? After all this? Come on. He's pushing the tempo. He's pushing the tempo. We got about, what, 3/4 of a mile left to go, so he has to do that. It will be interesting to see, and not that you guys want your camera sitting on his monitor the entire time, but it'll be interesting to see what the last 400 meters is going to look like.
What we're seeing, however, though, is that he's still 54 seconds behind Carroll right now. But that time that he's putting up, we'll see how much he's got left. So Fikowski is now in 4th overall in Heat 2 for event number 1. Carroll's still in the lead, followed by Scally. And Carmody in there as well. And Carroll holding on to the lead right now. He's in lane 8. Again, second from the left of your screen.
I think Jason may have pushed too soon. Look at his legs. Look at his feet. I feel like he's going to break his ankle right now. I mean, he looks so much more exhausted than everyone else up there. Granted, he's been pushing hard this entire time, so he is going to be tired. But we literally have about 3 minutes or so left. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold that.
The rocking back and forth as Fikowski gets moved into the top 3. Bridges is the time to beat, 38:08:31. So Fikowski now is in 3rd, but our time to beat is 38:08:31. Now is Bridges in heat number 1. Carroll is in the lead right now, followed by Scally, and then Brent Fikowski now in 3rd. Fikowski was one of the last ones to get onto the runner. His pace on the rower was about 10 seconds slower than what we saw from Carroll. And at last check, he was still about 54 seconds behind Carroll. We'll see if Fikowski can continue to give chase and reel in Carroll. as well as Scally in lane 10.
I'm impressed with Scally. Wow, I mean, he's stayed up there, got himself up there and stayed up there, chasing Jason Carroll, and that's impressive.
There's Fikowski again. He's in 3rd place right now. So Carroll and Scally, we're seeing their 2 chess pieces moved up. Carroll in the lead, followed by Scally, followed by Carmody. Fikowski moving up as well. Carroll is beating Fikowski by 47 seconds right now. He's taken 7 seconds off the deficit, but Carroll embracing the pain, still forging on in lane number 8.
I am impressed by Jason Carroll and Joe Scally. Both those guys, I was not expecting them to be able to hold what they're holding with the field that's out there. No way.
Hand from the judges up for both Carroll in 8 and Scally in 10. And here comes Carroll. It's not pretty, but he's going to take the lead here.
Wow.
And take the event.
That was impressive.
Here's Scally in lane 10.
Obviously, he didn't work hard enough. Wow, look at that. You know what, good on him. I'm glad that he had a good endurance event like that. He needed that.
Having fun. Now we're looking at Carmody in lane 1 and Fikowski in 14. Fikowski's knees getting a little bit higher, picking up the pace.
Whoa.
And that's Andre Jordan flying out in lane 17. Here comes Fikowski. Stephenson in 2. And then Carmody in 1. Fischer in 11. And he'll get off and cross in heat number 2. Now we're looking at Gibson in lane 12. Coming out of 15, there's Cole Sager. And then Gibson coming across as well in 12. Barnard in 9. He'll come on in about 39:20. Wethcott coming in as well as Stoneberg. We're looking at lane 16, Tosunian. We see his hand up, or the judge's hand up for him, I should see. And he'll come in under 40 minutes. Lucero in lane 6. Judge's hand is up. And there's Pernich in lane 4. It's Lucero in lane 6. And that was Tanner Stahl coming across. Here's Lucero. And that's Eric Evans in lane 3 coming in. Anderson coming in lane 5, Cody Anderson. Zerdia in lane 13. And 20, we've got Chris Detmering. Neither judge's hand is up yet. Cap is 49 minutes here. So the hand is up on Detmering. He'll be the next to come in. After a interesting first step off of the assault runner, he'll come in. So Detmering is in, and that just leaves one competitor out there on this event.
I don't know. Part of me would be like, okay, guys, can you just go away? Let me finish this. Just go away.
He's going with a little bit of the boxer's mentality now. here comes Azurdia. He'll get in under 46 minutes.
Well, I got to tell you what, Jason Carroll blew my mind on that event. I wasn't expecting him to be able to do what he did, which was come out so fast from the beginning and not slow down at all. I mean, we saw the split that he had on the rower, that 145. I mean, that's fast to pull that the entire time. To be able to have the composure to go from that to the 300 double unders and not have any issues there, not messing up anything, looked composed, looked relaxed, but then be able to get on the run and keep people like Brent Bukowski, back. Brent could not make up any distance on him. And you talk about like running style, that's about as inefficient as you can get, but he still crushed everybody. That's impressive. The guy is just such a hard worker, and man, what a way to start this weekend for him.
All right, let's go down to Kiki now on the floor. She is with Mr. Carroll.
Jason, you came out the gates hot, and you were able to maintain it. How?
Just throughout the whole year training, keeping my capacity up, especially aerobically. Those 3 movements specifically are really good for me, so I just kind of have to take them when I can get them.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, the run wasn't pretty, but you got through it. What were you telling yourself as you were getting through those 3 miles?
Part of the run, I would honestly almost count sheep, if you will, just to make the time pass. Just kept myself positive by saying, hey, I'm trying to get fit for the wedding. It's gotta look good for the soon-to-be wife. But yeah.
The lower extremities really tested with this event. How were the transitions moving from movement to movement?
I just made sure they were fast because it would honestly tax me more in my mental stability out there rather than physical. Because if I wait there, then the feeling physically will happen. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. But yeah, it was more of a better mental battle than a physical battle for me.
Cool, thanks, Jason.
So that's Jason Carroll again, our event winner here in the 333, 37-23-56. Very impressive from him, followed by Joe Scally. Josh Bridges in heat number 1, he came in at 38.08, and Andre Jordan 38.11. Even Brent Bukowski, again, his strategy worked out. One of the last ones to get on the runner, but he came across with a very impressive time in his heat. And then we see him followed by Mitchell Stephenson, Eric Carmody, Amador Arteaga, Garrett Fischer, and Cole Sager rounding out the top 10.